Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the T1P podcast. I am Mr. Rich. I'm your host. I am here today with family. Hey, what's up to my girl, Shanell Sharpe, longtime friend of one of my nieces. I would like to say that's her best friend. I've known her for a very long time, watched her grow up and become super successful. Now is a jack of all trades. She's I want to say a rapper, a poet, an entrepreneur. She has a master's degree, her bachelor's degree. She got so much going on. I'm gonna just let her tell it when we get into the conversation. So welcome,
Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone.
And so Shanell, we usually start with your background, where you grew up with. Tell everybody where you're from. What school system did you go to?
Okay, so I am originally from East Hartford, Connecticut, and for the majority of my life, I went to the East Hartford public school systems.
Okay. So in East Hartford Public Schools, what elementary school did you go to?
I went to Mayberry.
Mayberry, over in Mayberry Village. Did you live in that
Mhm.
area?
Yep, that's where I lived.
Okay, shout out to Mayberry Village. And for middle school, where'd you go?
East Hartford Middle.
East Hartford Middle, and the high school, of course, just East Hartford High, because that's just how it
hmm
goes. Okay, so in that time, do you have a favorite teacher in school in any of those years?
Definitely. So the number one, I've had so many great teachers, but the one who sticks out the most, and he's still a teacher right now. His name is
Okay.
Mr. White. He was
Yep.
my Spanish teacher in high school at East Hartford High, and yeah, takes the cake.
It gotta be why. Why?
Because he was really supportive and he actually cared. You could tell that he actually cared about the kids. Like, so for me, I don't know, he kind of just, I think he saw something in me and he kind of just wanted to help. Like, this was the first teacher that gave me an A in his class and like to start with off the bat and said
Yep.
that I just had to keep it. So
Okay.
yeah, he saw that I was
So
kind of like getting into trouble, but he knew that that wasn't really me. And he kind of understood that and helped me along.
so you said he was what kind of teacher? English?
A Spanish teacher, he was my Spanish
Spanish
teacher.
teacher. So did you learn Spanish?
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay. I'm a little rusty, but I can go to a Spanish speaking country and be okay and be all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all you need at this point, because that's what it's for. Like when you go to school and they say, well, I'm gonna learn this, or one day you may be in a Spanish speaking country and have to maneuver around that
And
country, which is good.
and I work
So
in the Bronx, so the like the Hispanic population in the Bronx is crazy. So a lot of times, a lot of the parents of my kids that I worked with in the Bronx, all they
yeah,
spoke Spanish. So I kind of I learned over the years to
okay. Now, what kind of student were you at East Hartford High?
at East
Don't
Hartford
forget, I
High.
knew you then. I knew you then.
Yeah. I would say when I was younger, I was a lot more shy.
Okay.
Um, but by the time I got to high school, you know, East Hartford was a school where you had everybody coming from everywhere, and um, it wasn't an easy time, you know.
Okay.
I definitely it was.
I'm only asking what kind of student you were as far as
Oh,
studious. I ain't asking what you
oh
got
yeah, I was
into.
a good student. Overall, I was a good student. I would say for sure.
Okay,
I
you was
was definitely yeah.
now after high school or after East Hartford High, you graduated from there. Where'd you go?
I ended up going to UConn for undergrad, and well, I actually yeah grad school too, but that's the school that I went
UConn.
to.
Shout out to the Huskies. Women are number one right now,
No,
as usual.
I know.
Um, what'd you major in UConn?
So for undergrad, I majored in English, and for grad school, I majored in social work.
Okay. We didn't talk about, so you majored in English. Was English your favorite subject in high school?
Yeah, by far.
Okay. And what gravitated you towards being an English major at UConn? There's so many things you could do at UConn.
Yeah, I think the classes just really came so natural. Like whenever it came to essays, like I would always like it was it was natural for me. It wasn't something I really had to study so like go really hard at. Like it was just I was good at it. So then because I was already good at it, by the time I got trained in it, I was like exemplary. So it just made sense.
So are we talking about writing in general?
Yeah. Essays, short stories, poems, um, proposals, everything.
So was it anybody who inspired you to write or that you read a lot of or listened to a lot of that you was like, man, this is the type of stuff that I want to do?
I mean, I don't even know where to start. So many people, but I guess I've always gravitated more towards creative writing.
Okay.
So if I had to say the most influential people, I would definitely say Langston Hughes,
Hmm.
Audre Lorde, mostly poets, Walt Whitman. Um, yeah, those people like that. Zora Neale Hurston, Aja Monet, who I actually know personally.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
those are
pretty
all
nice. How did
yeah.
you or when did you so you went to English for your undergrad, right?
Mhm.
Did you stay for your master's or did you go out into the world?
First, yeah, I went into the world first, and then I came
Yeah.
back for my master's.
All right. So what did you do when you went out into the world? How did we I want to get to the educate. How did you get there?
Well, yeah, that's a good. So after I graduated, I went out into the world, and then I got a job as a student support specialist at an elementary school.
Okay.
And then from there, I took on a long-term substitute teaching contract with a school district, and then yeah, that's
Were
kind
you
of how
did you go back to East Hartford or did you
it was like everywhere. So I did
Okay.
it in Bloomfield, Windsor, East Hartford,
Okay.
Hartford,
Yeah.
like just surrounding areas of Connecticut. Yeah.
That's kind of tough. How was that experience?
I didn't really like it that much. Yeah, I didn't really like it that much. I was
Okay.
like, I need something where I can like be and like stay at. The
Yeah.
student support specialist position, I like that a lot.
Yep. Yep.
I like that a lot. And it was there that decided to go and get my master's so I could keep doing stuff like that.
Now, where'd you get your master's in?
UConn too. I went back to UConn
What
and
was
got
the
my
subject
master's.
area?
Oh, what did I get it in? Master's of social work.
Okay, master's in social work. So we walking around here with all these credentials to be an educator. At what point did you get into music? Because y'all, I don't know if y'all tell y'all this young lady right here got got stuff out there, right? You got stuff on Spotify, on iTunes, like you a bona fide. Are you an artist? Do we gonna
Yeah.
call you a rapper, singer, or just an artist?
I just say I'm an artist.
Okay, bona fide
But
artist.
I
So
do
when you
rap
start,
and I do sing.
say that again.
Um, I said, but I do rap and I do sing.
Of course. When'd you start?
Like way later in life. I think I started making music when I was like 27.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I always wrote poetry and people started knowing me from poems that I would say like at open mics and stuff like that. And then from there, I just a lot of my poetry was so like lyrical and it sounded like raps anyway. So I kind of just transitioned. I was like, let me see how this would sound on a beat if I put a beat to it. Because you want to know something crazy?
What's
A
that?
lot of no disrespect to I love my poetry community, but not all poets. Sometimes a lot of poets sound really not really good on
Yeah. Okay.
beats, like instrumentals. It just doesn't. It's
Blend
like
well.
no, it doesn't.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a rhythmic. I don't know, but it just doesn't hit the same. So I was like testing it out to see if I could do it,
Yep.
and I could.
It's very confident. Sorry, I'm shy. It just and I could. Okay, let me go back a little bit then. So it was like masters at UConn. So we
Mhm.
talking 23, 24, maybe somewhere around there, 25. Because
When
you
I
went back out and you tried some teaching.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I was 24. Yeah, 24, 25, 26. Yeah, I graduated with my master's at 26. Yeah.
Okay, and you did because I want to try. Were you into poetry and rapping while you were still doing education stuff?
I was into it, but I just was nervous to put my stuff out there. Like
Okay.
it would just be like a me thing.
Yeah.
And then that next year I would say like, yeah, I was just like, let's do this. Let's see what happens.
Okay. So quote unquote big break?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like at this point in time, it's not even like you know how like before people would have to get signed to a label to like
Yep,
really like get money and
yep.
be able to move in this industry. It's just not like that anymore.
No.
So I don't even know if I would call it a big break, but I would say the first time I got a check from music was because I wrote for other artists. So, and that kind of like put me in rooms around people, like in studios around people that I probably would have, otherwise I would have never gotten the opportunity to be around them. So I started
I
meeting.
saw something on your feed too about a major artist and writing a song for somebody.
Yeah.
How did you how did you do that? How do you get yourself in a room with people where you could write a song or submit something? Did somebody see a piece of work that you did somewhere else and was like, "Hey, who's that person?"
I just think like when you start, it's different for everyone.
Yep.
And it's a lot easier again if you're signed to a label. I'm not. I'm 100% independent, but
Okay.
there are literally songwriters just signed to labels specifically only to write for other
That
artists.
yeah, right for them.
And that makes it a lot easier, and they give you an advance, and that's
Yeah.
how you're able to still do what you do. Whereas me, I still have multiple ways that I'm making money. I don't, you know, but yeah. So, yeah, I think you kinda just make connections, and relationships. Like, I stress all the time to even the students that I work with that are still, like, we're really close even today, right now.
Mhm.
Relationships are key. Like, they are key. That relationships will take you so much further than what's on, your resume. So because you could have all these things on your resume, but then no one wants to work with you. You have a bad attitude. You're
Right.
entitled. You know what I'm saying? People don't wanna deal with that.
And these are
So
some of the things that you go to when you talk to schools now, when you go to schools and you
mhm.
work with kids now, you tell them stuff like this. So, can you name who you've written for or who you got that first check for or whatever, anything like that? Or are you like a ghostwriter where you can't say,
Yeah. So sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. It really depends, but I would say that like it really ranges. And then even if you want to add on like for TV and like things like that for TV and movies, like that's another way I think people overlook that you can get money from music by writing for TV shows, writing for a movie, like to
yeah,
just someone to have. So, and it doesn't even have to be in the movie theater, and you
right,
still,
right, independent movie,
can get
stuff like
paid.
that.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, what I'm trying to get at, and you ain't picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to see if you're going to tell us anything or anyone that you've done stuff for, right?
Um. Yeah. I probably can't say exactly who because I no, because I received slack from doing that.
Oh,
So
okay,
I'm
okay,
like,
okay. I don't
now
want to
I
put you in
don't
a
even
bad
wanna
position.
like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Um,
I'm
but
saying
I've worked with a lot of people, dope
okay,
people.
okay, okay. So the work you do now when it comes to education, tell everybody what you do with kids or in the education atmosphere.
So, um, currently it looks a lot different than previously, but I will say like majority of my life I've worked in either in school systems or with school systems by working in educational nonprofits, either one
Okay,
of the two. So I've been in the school system and worked in school districts literally my whole life.
okay.
Now it wasn't until I would say maybe a few years ago, like 5 years ago, I transitioned out of working directly in schools
Yep,
to just contracting with schools or educational nonprofits. And that's also when I launched my e-learning platform. And now I meet with schools to try to implement the app essentially into their curriculum.
okay.
So yeah, I'm with different principals, boards, and just explain to them why I think this would be an asset, and I try to help hear what their problems are, see if I could help,
Yep.
because I know that I've seen so much, I've seen what works great and what doesn't. So I was like, let me just do something that I think can make a difference.
Okay. So when we talking about in the area of social emotional learning, and so why do you think that topic, that SEL topic is so important to kids nowadays post COVID in schools?
Okay, so prior to so when I was working in the Bronx, I was a counselor, a middle school counselor. COVID hit. So obviously I'm not able to meet with my kids like I normally would. So this app literally just started as a way just to only connect with my kids.
Got you.
And then it kind of once I told my principal, she was like, "No, let's just do this for everybody." And then it kind of spread. All the everybody, especially in New York City, all the people in education, everybody knows everybody. So that kind of helped me out a lot because my principal was so supportive. And then from there, um, it just became something that was bigger. Educational equity as a whole.
Yeah.
Like it's just something I feel we're missing, and specifically social emotional learning. There's such an emphasis always on like the academics, but me, especially coming from a counselor background at the time, how do you expect a student to come into school and get straight A's and do their best when they don't even have any food in their refrigerator,
Yeah.
when they just saw their mom get beat up last night? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? These are not to say that's the situation with every kid, but I'm just giving you examples of what I dealt with my kids literally in real life.
Right.
So I knew that you can't just expect them to come sit down and take a test and they'll do great. It doesn't really work like that.
Why do you feel or do you feel it's the school's role to have to take that on rather than some people being like, "Oh, no, well, that has to come from the family. That has to come from the parents."
It is the school's role because every single day they're coming to school. And if they are not coming to school every single day, they're penalized for it. So if you expect them to come to school every single day and be here, then you have to address what their every single day problems are too.
Okay.
I
Okay.
went above and beyond for my kids. I don't see my kids in school. Sometimes we had a whole team at my school. I would go to their houses with two of my team members. I would literally pull up, knock on doors. Like that's how serious it was for me.
What
Like
grades are we talking about at this time?
6 to 8.
Middle school. Now,
They were
middle
in middle
school
school,
tough.
but you would have thought they were adults.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
The stuff they gotta deal with sometimes.
And
What
even they're big kids.
Of course. What's different, and I got at least a generation on you, but what's different with students nowadays that was different from when you were in high school or middle school or coming up in school? What's the biggest difference?
A lot. I would say, like, when I was growing up, kids were still like kids. Like, we still had don't get me wrong, we had our own issues, but we like to play
Yeah,
outside.
right.
These kids will, you know, depending on where, like, if we're talking like where they live and stuff like that, but most kids are literally just on their iPads, or some kids may feel like they have to take on adult responsibilities,
Mhm.
or they go try to do adult things and that they're just not ready for.
Right.
So that's what I think the difference is. I think I don't know. I I definitely was a kid when I was a kid. I never tried to like speed up my process, and that wasn't even something I thought about. That's just what it was.
Yeah. You definitely talked about, playing outside. That's a huge thing. We got plenty of snow over here where I'm at now. Plenty of snow. You drive anywhere around here. Snow is just packed, no footprints, no kids playing, no sledding, no anything like that. And I know when I was growing up, all we had was a football to go outside. We was who got that football for Christmas and go out there and play in the snow.
That's
Um,
so crazy.
yeah, and you don't see that anymore. But so tell me what you think about um phones and social media in school.
Yeah, I think phones can sometimes be an asset, right? But if you're on social media, like, and different social platforms could be an asset too. This is so hard, especially because I'm in e-learning. But I think like if you're just on your phone and you're, getting caught up in like cyberbullying or, just in media, like what the media has to talk about, it's not really benefit. It could rot your brain. That's what I honestly think, because if you're on the phone too much, you're not tapped into real life. So I do think there needs to be a balance. Like it can't just be all only behind it, everything behind the screen.
Right. Um, do you think schools should ban cell phones at different grade levels? Should high schoolers have them? Should middle school students have them? What are your thoughts on that? Because I know you might get that question sometimes working with
Yeah.
different schools or just because of who you are.
Yeah. I think like All right. So for what I do, you can access it through a phone, but mostly where my app is implemented, everyone has Chromebooks, so they don't need their phones technically. They just use their Chromebooks.
Okay.
So I don't think it's your phone is needed. Will I go as far to say it should be banned? No, because then you get maybe during certain maybe during the school day.
Okay.
Maybe I could say that. Maybe during the school day you don't need your phone. Like if you have an access to what you need as long as there's technology in your classroom. If you have Chromebooks, you don't have a reason to have your phone. Some schools they don't. So then I would say, all right, let them have their
Okay.
phones.
You good with that?
Yeah.
Now, what's your app called?
Sharp mindset.
Sharp Mindset, and that's how can anyone quote get in touch with you to learn how to get sharp mindset for their school.
By email. And the email is info at sharp mindset, sharp with an .com.
Okay. And you go by Chanel Sharp in
Mm-hmm.
your artist mode, right? Because you're CEO, president, founder of Sharp Mindset, that piece. In your artist mode, you don't switch your name either, right? Like you don't have a name that is just Chanel Sharp. So when people look
No.
you up on iTunes and all that, they find Chanel Sharp.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think my life is consistent with what I do. Like, like like I am an artist and my business is centered around SEL and education through artistry. Essentially, it's through creative expression.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm not trying to get you to come up with a name, but so listen, you work in education and
Mhm.
you show up at schools, you're in front of people, people look you up, they see your social media platform, they're like, okay, this girl got songs, she's doing this and that. Um, you have to be careful working in education and then the content that you put out as an artist. Now, what kind of an artist would you say you were when it
Yeah,
comes to, hip hop and you know what I mean? Who would you compare yourself to?
that I really don't compare myself to anybody. I think
Okay,
I'm
I'm
just
sorry. Here we go. I'm sorry. My bad. Go ahead.
But I think you bring up a great point because I think so often, especially like in the professional realm, I feel like people think like, oh, they have to hide their real lives. But the thing is that you're so much more relatable. And also it's not like my real life is anything crazy. I feel comfortable showing my professional life and real life simultaneously because I think it's actually a necessity. So people could really understand and get the background. So, um, but it's not like I'm out here doing drugs either. So that's another situation I guess you will have to think about, and the type of artist you are because
No,
that
I,
isn't
I I get that because like
yeah,
so growing up in hip hop, you kind of look at things that are kind of hypocritical sometimes. Like, oh yeah, I'm partying, I like that song. That song got this and that, got a nice beat. You listen to the
mhm,
message, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I don't know if I'm gonna go out here being a teacher and pumping this song, pulling up in a parking lot, right? Or having this song playing in my class. There's
yeah,
certain things you got to do, but then you realize some artists are telling a story or living a life that's not really theirs behind the mic, and somebody who's not. So would you? I guess you would say that what I spit on the mic is who I am.
yes. And not everything though, like some songs that I've written are not solely about me. Maybe they're about people that I love and care about and it resonated with me or something going on in the world that I feel is important enough for me to talk about. And it like, it gave me some type of emotion to the point where I want to write about it.
So you're not gonna compare yourself. Who is one of your favorite artists? I'll ask you that.
Okay. So definitely wait, only one?
No, 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 no. Name your favorite artist, guys. Shoot, shoot.
Um, are we talking all time or just
It
right
doesn't
now?
even matter. They could be old, they
Okay.
could be young, they could be current, they could
Okay.
be okay, so let's go all time, then give me somebody current, I guess.
Okay. All time for sure. Lauryn Hill,
Of course.
Nas, Queen Latifah, Jay-Z, Tupac,
Okay.
Biggie. Can't leave him out. Um, yeah, I would say all time those for sure.
Okay,
Um,
so
yeah.
that's a good era from your time of growing up that you had that kind of music that people kinda look back on and be like, "That was the golden age of
Mhm.
hip hop, that was really good." You got some good
Mhm.
people out there now. Can you give me some current folks?
Yeah. So right now I would say I love SZA, I love Janae Aiko, I love Alicia Keys, I love J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Drake. Um, I've been listening to this new artist, her stuff, Pimmy, she's really dope.
Okay.
I also love Thames and a lot of Afro beats too, like Wizkid, he's fire. So yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so some good mixture in there. I'm not gonna ask you to comment on anybody's controversy or anything like that. What? No, but I mean, like, and we'll get into your favorite shows and whatnot. But I think it's a cool thing to hear you, mention folks from your past and mention folks from your future and not have, you know, seems like any animosity towards any artist or something that you speak who you described as your favorite artist or people who you like tells a lot about the kind of music you listen to and the type of artist you are. We ain't got to go into the other stuff that can bring a negative light to folks. But I will ask you this, as a woman of color, someone who gets out in front of students at a certain at different times, what do you feel your responsibility is when you're having conversations with those kids?
I think I'm responsible. Like it's like I have to be honest and real with them. I think a lot of times, like some people will approach like, "Oh, they're kids. You can't say this or do this." And yes, while there is a certain level of, to protect their innocence in a sense, but I think with like you talked about social media and just access to phones, so much is already they're already exposed to so much. So it's better you address it with them than you leave it up for okay, someone else telling them something about it who they barely even know. There's oh my God, I don't even want to there's so many situations where I've seen like I don't personally have kids, but I have a lot of nieces and nephews and I've seen like the struggle but like when they are left to just go explore on social media without the parent actually speaking to them, without a loving teacher or, an adult, a mentor actually speaking to them. So I think that's essential. I think we owe it, myself and everyone else in education owes it to these kids to be open, be honest, be real, and as raw as possible. And also just present yourself like they look at you, they're a sponge. So I know a lot of
Mm,
people sometimes will say, "Well, I didn't sign up to be a role model," and
mm,
they do music.
yeah.
It don't matter if you signed up for it or not. That's just automatically what it is. Like it's what it is. So you have to be your best self and present as your best self no matter what. Again, don't be fake, but just, understand and know that you got someone looking up to you.
Now you're schooling and teaching people online as well as an influencer, right? When you spit stuff and you throw stuff out there to people, what's your message? Like, what's your bottom line message and stuff like that? Is it about life? Is it about love? Is it about relationships? What are you schooling people on most of the time?
I would say everything you just named and then some. I think it's really just about I talk a lot about like my own personal struggles. I talk about like society as a whole, like the society we live in, things that go on in it. I talk about heartbreak. I talk about relationships. I talk about friendships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you get on a platform, because that was one of the things I kind of struggled with when I was deciding to do this. This is my second round of podcasting. I did it for my school system. Now I just do it on my own because I like having conversations and getting to know folks and what makes them ticks and how they learn and all that kind of stuff. So I feel having a platform, you have a duty kind of like when you putting something out there, it should be something beneficial for our people. It should be something
Hmm.
beneficial that people can learn from, can get
Yeah.
something from. Otherwise, you just out here starting trouble, trying to get clicks, doing stuff like that. I'm not in I guess, in the realm for anything that's going to be dramatic, right? It's all about teaching and learning, being responsible with a platform. And I don't know a lot of people who have a platform to do things like that. And I figure your platform is somewhere people can go to be like, "Man, that's inspirational." That wasn't somebody that was just getting on here talking crap about, politics or talking crap about other people, whatever. I'm trying to be inspirational and have people follow my message.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And something else that I thought about as you were just speaking too, something that I think is really, really important that I got from Nina Simone actually. She said true artists reflect the times. Like you need to like reflect the times if you're an artist. Like that's one of our gifts. So reflecting the times and what's going on and addressing it and not staying quiet about it. So that's another thing.
Now, what's your process for writing a song? If you were talking to kids and kids was like, they come up to you and be like, Miss Sharp, Chanel, you out here, you're writing songs or whatever. I want to be a songwriter, right? I want to be a songwriter. What do you tell them that they need to start doing in order to be a good songwriter?
Um, I would say the best route and quickest route. My route was a little unconventional, but I would say the best route is to get into songwriting camps.
Oh,
And
okay.
most of them, yeah, songwriting camps they're held like over the summers. Some even in the fall, but most of them, they take place out of Los Angeles.
Okay.
So, um, I personally have not been to one, but I know that the songwriters who are like, signed to a label and they were able to get advances up front, so they didn't have to like work a job and they could just solely focus on that. They went through songwriting camps.
Now, you can say songwriting camps. I'm gonna come at you with AI. I don't need a songwriting camp if I could tell AI to write a song about heartbreak and it spits it out for me.
That's true, but it's not about that. It's about the relationships and the people that you connect with.
Okay,
Like,
talk more about that.
yeah, so it's these people already have, like I said, they are already. It's not you're not just there to essentially learn. You're there to 9 times out of 10, and if you are there, you mostly already have some type of relationship with somebody. 9 times out
Okay.
of 10. But that's not always the case, but you're there to create everything is so very much niche in who you know.
Yep.
So, you could be the best songwriter in the world.
Yep.
But again, let's go back to relationships. If you do not have these relationships develop and you don't create them, you may not you may the person who's not as talented as you will be in a better position. So,
Right.
yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to AI for a second. Is AI gonna take some money out of your pocket pretty soon with songwriting or the things that AI can do? Is AI what are the benefits, I guess, and the downfalls of AI?
I think I don't think it's taking money out of my pockets at all anytime soon because I just don't think so. But I definitely use AI for a lot. If anything, I think AI will put money in your pockets if
Okay, let's go.
the right way. Like right now, you can, and this is like another thing that I want people to just to feel comfortable, like having the agency. Like I tell like the students that I work with, like
Mhm.
don't approach a situation thinking this position is too crazy for me. I don't know that I don't have enough experience. I'm not half the people in these positions they are also struggling with like ideas of I don't know if I can do this. Like
Right.
and then on the other hand, you have others you have other people in positions that feel that they're just entitled to be in them and you probably know more than they do.
Right.
So, it's like I always encourage my students, like, no, like, like, really, like, approach this like, "Okay, I can do this. I know that if anything, I'm overqualified, not underqualified, even if my experience is not there." So, yeah, that's one of the first things, like, I realized. So, I think AI if you have AI, even if you feel like, "Oh, I'm nervous," if you
Yep.
start using it, you'll see that actually you are really where you should be. If not, you're further ahead than what this position calls for or what this job calls for, you know?
Okay. Talk to me about the artist's career when it comes to performing, right? What I noticed is, and we talked a little about being down with the label, right? You used to
Mhm,
be able to make more money off of CDs, right? People go to the store and they buy CDs or they buy your album, whatever, you can get money off of that. Now, things are streamed and that revenue ain't is not the same as selling CDs. And it seems like you gotta do more performing or internet work to get recognized or to get paid in this business. What is that like being an artist?
Literally. And that is why I have so it's exactly what you just said. Like you really have like that's why a lot of people are able to make money without labels now because don't get me wrong, I still think that getting signed to a label could be incredibly beneficial if they are giving you a good deal. If you're talking about $1 million contract, then all right, now that makes sense. But just know that even after taxes, that million is going to be 500K. And now you can make 500K a year by literally diversifying your streams of income. So
Right.
that's what I'm saying. That's why it gotta make sense. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think if you are going to solely be an artist, I'm not just solely an artist. I don't
Nope.
I can't afford to be solely an artist without a tech
Mhm.
contract like that. So if you are just solely an artist, then yeah, you do have to first of all, you're a major artist, not
Yep.
just a, a one that people don't know like that.
Yep.
Unless you're a songwriter and you're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So yeah, um, yeah, then you have to perform. That's like the number one way to get your money. You have to
Yep.
be going on tour and doing shows. And then the second is merch, selling your merch and stuff like that.
Uh,
Because without
yep.
that, the streams are not cutting it. And the label will come back for the money that you owe them.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for schooling us on that for sure. They will come back.
Yeah.
Um, do you perform? Do you get out there? Can people book you and be like, "Yo, I need you to come"? Because there was
Yeah.
one point in time I almost had my contract signed with my district. I was like, "We gotta get Shanell over here to come talk to my girls in my school system." And
Mhm.
my boss at the time flaked on me. I won't mention her name, but she flaked on me when I was like, "I need my young girl right here to come talk to my children." So is it do you perform like your songs or do you perform poetry at
Yes.
schools or at different events?
Both. Both. Actually, it's so crazy. I have a performance coming up on this Friday at a school here in the Bronx. And it's a middle and high school. So and it's for Black History Month. So yeah, I'm performing still often for schools and also outside. When I was just traveling, I performed twice while I was during my travels. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so like sometimes you can be envious of it, and I guess that's why I do what I do because I just find it fascinating for you to be able to travel and go here and there and then drop in on schools and talk to them. Can I get can I get a taste of one of the things or what you're gonna talk about on Friday?
Yeah. So I actually don't know yet what I'm gonna talk about. I have like my catalog is extensive, so I gotta sit and figure that out. But
My catalog
don't
is extensive.
stop.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm talking about.
But yeah, but I'll say something that I feel like is like vulnerable and shows like just kind of like mostly like what I would speak about in music stuff that really like resonates to me and makes sense to me. So I'll just jump into it. God gave me a gift, and I know I need to use it. Depression got me in the bed. In my mind, I might lose it. Cancer took my mother. Jail took my brothers. People ask if I'm okay, like what I'm really supposed to say. That I couldn't eat for days and I barely slept that week. That it's still too hard to speak on it, because that's what it is. They told me tests will make you grow. Well, that's what it did. Had to unlearn what I know, how to let some people go. Till you lose someone you love, you ain't never feel this low, but it makes the highs worth it. I see that only God's perfect. This is deep beyond surface. And though I may not get the picture, I'm just trusting in the purpose. People expect you just to bounce back like nothing ever really happened. Look around, who got your back, who gonna really make it happen. It's not no one else but you, so hold your head and stay true. And trust I know that it gets dark, but you gotta see it through. You can only see the stars at night, and the blacker the sky is the brighter they shine.
So thank you for that. That's what I'm talking about. I've always been interested in that as a teacher, as someone who loves to read, as someone like my second book that I wrote was a poem. It just started as a poem and just wrote like that. So I'm just like fascinated by that work. You know, my nephew in Chicago, Julian, is a poet. You know, my son, um, he's an artist himself, right? So he's rapping and doing his thing too. And I just love when I see young people, and I can still call y'all young, um, just
You're
do
still
these
young too.
things. Huh?
You're still young too.
Thank you. We take that. We take them, compliments. We still young. Um, but it's like, what's your favorite song or poem that you have?
Um, that is so hard. Mm, I guess the poem that I've seen make the most impact on people is a poem called Love Me. And it just talks about having being in a relationship with someone you love and getting your heart broken by
Uh,
them
yeah,
and rising up from that
yeah,
still to
yeah.
just having it be no bad blood after the fact. Like
Okay.
just like go our separate ways, but I still love you. I just can't be with you.
I still can't rock with you. I got
Yeah.
you. How
So
can
yeah.
people, and I know right now you said you're in the Bronx and then you went traveling and booked over there and did all that. And I know sometimes when people get booked for certain things, right, you got to pay for travel. You want to pay me to travel and I'm going to do this and do that. How can
I mean,
people
yeah,
book
that's
you?
right.
How can people book you for shows or book you for appearances at schools or anywhere to perform?
9 times out of 10, I always get either my opportunities, or just offers directly from Instagram, like DM
Okay.
on
Yep.
Instagram or, TikTok.
Oh,
And
I
but if
don't know
not.
why.
Huh?
I'm sitting up here saying, I don't know why I'm doing this old school stuff. Like, how can people get in touch with you? Take my phone number. Everybody on social media, and you can just DM that person, right, on social
Yeah,
media, and then they get in
yeah.
contact with you now. That's how people actually get in contact with me now. They just hit me through one of the social media platforms.
I gotta
Um,
add you on social media, I don't have you. But yeah, so social media, so
yes.
IG, TikTok, and then also email though.
Oh,
Email
email
too.
too. Okay, so what's the email for it? Is this the same sharp mindset or is it?
That's just for Sharp Mindset specifically, so that's
Okay.
that. So
All those money. Okay, go ahead. What's the email?
sharp.chanel@gmail.com.
And you're not playing. I'm not going by any other names. I'm Chanel Sharp. This is who I'm gonna be. This is where you gonna catch me at. All right,
Yeah.
so um we coming to a good wrap up of this show. I want to thank you for coming out here, but you do have to talk about your top five. This is an education show, so we always
Yes.
ask our guests who their top five movies, shows about school are. So
Mhm.
you got to start from five and go down to four, three, two, one. So what's your fifth and why?
Okay, my 5th is Boy Meets World. I know, like, the youngest, they probably don't know about that show, but they need to get familiar with that show because that show literally, like, cause you had, like, Mr. Feeney, who was, like, the kid's teacher. They are
Yep,
all in
the
high school.
teacher.
Yeah, and you could see how much they loved him and how much one teacher can really change the trajectory of your life. Like,
Hmm.
they went to that man with everything, like,
Yep.
girl problems, boy problems, education, like all these things. And he was just so real with them. And you could tell he really, loved them. So that show, I love that show.
Okay, that's number five.
Um,
What's number four?
mhm. Number 4, I would say is Freedom Writers. And I
Okay.
think that movie is so it's just essential because, you see again what the difference one teacher can make and just really believe in their students, what that could do.
Yep. And you're an English major, so you
And
know
I'm a yeah,
that
and
makes
I'm
sense.
yeah. Um, and also the area that kids are in and how other outside well, I'll get to that too in my other. So yeah.
Okay,
Oh
that's
yeah.
four. Number three.
Bohemian World, Freedom Writers. Number 3, I would say is Sister Act. That's a re
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's a
think
good
that's
one.
a movie that people overlook, and it's
Yes,
not like I know the whole point wasn't actually academic, but it still was educational in so
it
many
was
ways.
educational. Yes,
Yeah, and just again, you see how connecting with kids and how, like, bringing out their creative side can change
big
everything too.
time, big time. I mean,
Mhm.
the singing in that movie, right? The the Lauren
Yeah.
Hill in that movie.
Mhm.
What's my man name from the group? City. What is it? High City
Um,
Five,
yeah,
whatever it is. But
well,
he hit the note. The
yeah,
kid that hit the note in the
yeah,
movie.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
So
that
that was
that's
just the touchable parts,
epic,
right? The touching parts.
epic. So
Okay,
that
number 2.
that's number 3. Um, Number 2, I would say is what's my number 2? What was my number 2? Oh, so I would I've I'm back and forth with this one
Okay,
because I feel like I've seen so many, like, shows on Disney, like, grew up watching so many shows on Disney that took place in school settings,
okay.
and I felt like that was so interesting because I know how my school setting was, and then
Yeah,
watching shows like that, um, like Cheetah Girls, Sister Sister, all these shows, like, That's So Raven, like,
yeah,
I saw, like, their experience, um, in school, and I saw, like, how they had, like I don't know, I just saw a different side of school, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I see what's going on," and see what saw the problems they deal with. And also Clueless, that was one of my favorite movies too during that time.
so what are we
So,
bunching all those into one
I
number
think that
2?
that gotta be yeah, because I can't just say one. So, like, all of those, I gotta respect the Disney era. So all of
Okay,
the
the Disney era for okay, you're number
yeah.
2.
And then number 1, hands down, Dangerous Minds. I love that movie. I will
Okay,
rewatch that movie over and over. Um And the reason I say that that's my number 1 movie is because I saw that movie when I was really young, and it was just so inspiring, and I could relate to it. That teacher, uh, she she came into that job, didn't know what she was doing. They gave her a hard time, especially because of where they're from, the area they were in. She was a white
yeah,
lady. These kids were Black, Hispanic,
yep,
into gangs, fights, all of this stuff, having problem getting people pregnant. And that was literally our experience too. So,
yeah,
like, when we were
yeah,
in middle school, 2 girls were pregnant in our middle
right,
school class.
yeah,
The same
that's
one
tough.
that me and Lamar were in.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, like, you see that, and then we had a it's just so s it just I just related to it so much. And then seeing how, like, that one teacher, all she did was really love those kids. Like, that's really
yeah,
even though she didn't know what she was doing, she just needed a job at the time, but that's just
yep,
goes to show it doesn't matter. It You could have the most credentials. If you do not love what you're doing, it's gonna show. The kids are gonna
big
know.
time.
They're not gonna respect you. Just loving up on these kids really sometimes is all you need, and that kind of makes not kind of that makes all the difference. Like, so
Okay,
I
so
can
number
honestly say
1
I
is
love my kids. Like,
yeah, yeah. Number 1 is Dangerous Minds.
mhm,
Loving up on those kids. What
mhm.
makes what makes it hard to be a teacher these days when it comes to kids? Because it's not easy, and we
Woo.
have some kids that make it tough.
Yeah, I would say the hardest part about that isn't even really the kids, but I know that that could be a difficult. I've had some experiences. So, yeah, with kids and teachers. I mean, kids and
Yeah,
actually kids, teachers, and parents
right,
actually
right, right,
made it
right.
tough. So that's a whole nother situation.
Okay,
But no, I think the hardest part about being a teacher right now, or even working in education in general, is number one, first and foremost, which has always been like this, and it's going to be, I think, a uphill, like a constant battle. But educational equity, like seeing what
yeah,
um the kids that I work with have to go through and have available to them the resources, and seeing what other students in other areas like more um like just the you could just see the gap in education.
yeah,
So you're in the suburbs as opposed to if you're in the cities.
yeah,
So I think that that's a big problem. And then also teacher salary. I think,
yeah.
like, yeah, I think it's not bad, but it should be way better given what we literally go through on a day-to-day basis, in these
Okay.
schools. So, yeah.
All right. So I'll leave you on this note where we will let you go. But
Okay.
I thank you for your time. Um, one more shout out to how people can get in touch with you. What's
Okay.
your
So,
social media handles, I guess?
yes. So if you want to get in touch with me personally, you can just find me. I'm everywhere. Shanell Sharpe. Shanell with a ShanellSharpe. Sharpe with a E. And that's across all platforms. And then except TikTok. On TikTok, it's I'm Shanell Sharpe. So I am Shanell Sharpe. And then if you want to get in touch with me for like educational purposes, then it's info@sharpemindset.com, or you can find me on Instagram there, which is just at Sharpe Mindset, SHARPE Mindset.
All right. Any lasting advice for any of our people listening, any of our young girls, any of our teachers, anybody want to be a poet, any lasting advice for anybody?
Yeah, I would say definitely um, figure out really what you love to do. And when you figure that out, or what makes you, get excited, something you're excited about, something you genuinely feel good doing. And then from there, you can living out your purpose in that. And I think when you do that and you don't like make it so much about everything else, what other people want or expect from you, but really what tap in and feel what you want, then success will come.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Chanel.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Uh,
So that's it. That's a wrap on this episode of the Teach One podcast. But I do have some homework for you. You got to subscribe, you got to like, you got to share with your teaching besties, and then comment on your favorite takeaways. That's your homework. Seriously, thanks for tuning in and being part of this amazing community of educators. Keep inspiring, keep growing, and remember you're teaching one student at a time and making all the difference. So see you on the next episode.